Hello, everyone, and welcome to Around the World with Duff. It's been a long time, and I decided that I wanted to do another show. We are living in some unprecedented times. So, if you'd like to join me on screen today as a guest, feel free to click on the link I posted down below. If none of you have seen this show before, it was a show I started during the beginning of the pandemic, because there were so many conflicting opinions on what was going on in the world at the time. I decided that I was going to start this show. So for some of you, this is probably brand new because I think this is our what did I put 28th episode. So yeah, we had some good conversations during the run of this series, web series. Basically, it's on YouTube. If you want to join us on YouTube, you can join me on Facebook on Around the World with Duff. I have a specific page for that, and I think it should be streaming on my. Let me just check on my Facebook personal page as well. Sometimes StreamYard plays little tricks on me. So I've been. I'm a. Oh yeah, see, it's not. Is so tricky. So let me just change this quickly, folks. Shut up. For some reason, it will only play to, let's just make this public. Okay. Sorry, folks. I don't know why StreamYard does that to me. They play little funny tricks. Anyway, welcome for those of you joining on YouTube and on Facebook and anywhere else in the world. This is Around the World with Duff. So, like I was saying, Around the World with Duff started during the pandemic, and I wanted to travel to different countries, not actually travel, but like talk to friends. I knew friends in literally so many countries around the world that I wanted to actually gather opinions on what was happening in their section of the globe. And so it was such an eye opener. We got to visit Sweden and Tokyo, and not Tokyo as a company, Japan, the Emirates. I mean, it was all over the world, all over Canada, all over the U.S., Australia. Got to talk to people one on one and find out what was happening. And as you know, sometimes things are slanted through the press and through the media and through TV, and so we've all during all of this COVID have realized that there are alternate sources, and as we're learning during this Russian Ukraine conflict right now, which is the topic of today's discussion. Hopefully, some people can join me online, and we can talk further about it. If you have questions, if you want to join me on screen, I'd love it if we can have chat about those things. Yeah, so basically, I gathered opinions throughout the world and came to the conclusion that sometimes the best thing is to hook up with people who are on TikTok. Not hook up, but like listen to people's opinions who are on the ground. Now, there's a lot of fake media out there, that's for sure. And by that I mean people, people making fake videos, fake pictures. We have all seen that during this Ukraine-Russian conflict. At least I have. If you go on TikTok, you can tell what's fake and what isn't. So, so what I've discovered is that sometimes the best thing to do is just talk to people directly who are in those countries, who are living the conflict. I got overwhelmed during the run of my 27 episodes of this show, and I had to stop because there were too many conflicts happening. There was Black Lives Matter. There was January 6th. It was just insanity, and then added COVID on top of that with many variants, which we're still dealing with. So there was a lot happening, and I had to stop for a while. I'm a very sensitive soul. I get emotionally, because I'm an actor, I get emotionally wrapped up in what was happening with people. So again, I need to have an outlet like this, Around the World with Duff, in order to express my opinion, to talk to other people and find out what's happening in other parts of the planet. So now I'm not seeing any chats. I'm wondering if anyone can hear me. Can you guys hear me? That's the important part. I think you can. I see but I don't see any chats happening. So that's kind of curious. I'm not sure why. Let's see here what's going on. Just checking in again. Anyway, well, looks like you can hear me on YouTube and on Facebook. Can you guys hear me? That's the important part. I think. Yeah. All right. Well, looks like you guys can hear me. Um, what I and this is not going to be a long show today. It's 1 o'clock, probably end by 2. If anyone has any questions or anything like that, feel free to chime in on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Around the World with Duff page on Facebook. I think you might be able to chat there easier than here. So one of the things that so for those of you just joining, this is Around the World with Duff. This is the 28th episode. It is 1 o'clock Sunday, March 6th in Toronto. A little bit windy, clear skies. There's some heavy winds, about 90 kilometers, I think, coming through. So there's, I think, a front running through the US as well. This show started as a COVID sort of like awareness show, and then slowly turned into more global issues. So today I would like to discuss what I've learned. This is just my opinion on what's happening. Maybe get some of your comments on, but I'm not sure why I'm not getting any comments coming through. Can somebody send me a comment through Facebook right now, just to see if it's happening? One of the things is that there is a huge discussion around hold on, sorry folks, around no-fly zone, basically in the Ukraine, Russia. I also learned that we should not say the Ukraine. I learned that pretty quickly because that refers to a post-USSR Ukraine. So when you're talking about Ukraine, it should just be Ukraine. So I was watching a documentary, very extensive discussion on the history of Eastern Europe. And I didn't realize that Ukraine had been through, I mean, growing up in the 80s, which is when it was happening, a lot of it, as a teenager, we weren't very aware of what was happening in Ukraine with the USSR and the Soviet Union and all of that. So I didn't realize that that there was such division within Ukraine, the Eastern and the Western. I didn't realize that Putin and before him, Gorbachev had moved in earlier into Russia. Into Ukraine, that they've been fighting for these lands for quite some time. So it's quite, and then Crimea, add Crimea on top of that, which is even more of a thing that's been going on. The people of Crimea actually fled Crimea and then came back. I did not know that. Western Ukraine is a whole different ball of wax than the Eastern Ukraine. And it goes back centuries. So, but then Zelensky has come in and really reformed the country, has really brought people together. People were starting to actually become a democratic union, and Putin has basically come in and he's trying to get in his last hurrah. He's in his 70s, I think. So he's trying to basically come in and take over the his empire, which was actually the empire of USSR, was quite extensive before, and it included all of that land. So it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what is happening right now, and I feel so sorry for the people of Ukraine. I grew up in Saskatchewan in a heavy Ukrainian community. We, you know, I think most of my community was Ukrainian, and so I have this deep, heartfelt feeling for the people of Ukraine, and I'm having a hard time dealing with what's happening right now. It's also a global uh, affair. We think that we're not left out of it, but I think that it's really affected Putin's and Trump's whole modus operandi has really affected our own democracy. If we think that we're not affected by what's happening, we are directly affected, and will be from now on. So it's such a complex issue, and we can't have a no-fly zone because that will ignite the whole situation. And I heard a commentator say something about how dare you insult the intelligence of people who actually know what a no-fly zone would bring to Ukraine and to the world. Um, that cutting off the pipeline from Germany into Russia, the oil pipeline would actually um, completely destroy the economy of Europe and the rest of the world. As you can see, it already is. The gas prices are almost at $2, I think, in Canada. In Vancouver, I think the pumps were at $2. Um, but I'm really upset that I can't actually have any people. Nobody's commenting on here. Let me just look at some of the comments. Maybe people are still sleeping, but yeah. Anyway, that is really an unbelievable situation that we're having to deal with and that people are going through. So I basically wanted to come on and just express my opinion today about all of that. And I highly encourage you to go on and watch documentaries. A wonderful documentary on Netflix about the history of Ukraine. On YouTube, there's some really great documentaries. There's one in particular that I watched, which was the history of Eastern Europe. It was called, and it's a lecture. Let me just find the website for you. And I found it really enlightening because it really spells out the whole history. I actually posted it on my Facebook page yesterday on my personal page. So if you want to go and find that, it's there. Let me just pick it up here for you folks. History. No, it's not the Ellen Green. History of Eastern Europe, and it's on a page called Wondrium. 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 Really informative and highly educational documentary about the history of Eastern Europe, and they go through. It actually starts way back with the oligarchs and back with the people of Russia, the people who were there before all of this happened, and it spells out that whole history of how Gorbachev took over and all of the subsequent leaders leading up to Putin, who's been there for 20 some years, which is mind-boggling. But personally, I just wanted to come on today and express my opinion about what's happening. If you guys have any opinions or anything you can comment about, I'd appreciate your comments in the comment section. I don't seem to be receiving any comments. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is working. So I might actually have to come back on because I wanted to have a discussion more than me just blabbering on here about it. Let me just see if I can remove myself and come. Okay, we'll see if that works. But if you want to join me on screen for a conversation, just post in the comments on Facebook. Or actually, let me double check that as well, because sometimes Facebook cuts me off. Uh, let's just see here. I haven't used this in quite a while, so it's been a long time. Um, looks like it's running. Yeah. Anyway, that is the topic of today. So I just wanted to express that. I wanted to express that we need to send as much help as we can to Ukraine. I think World Vision actually is doing some really awesome things. If you want to go to World Vision and support people who are coming through, Airbnb is also you can actually buy an Airbnb stay in Ukraine and support the people who aren't in their apartments. You can actually support them by buying a stay, even though you're not going to be in their Airbnb. You can go on Airbnb and pick any, you know, any number of locations of apartments and contribute to those people who are displaced and not able to use their Airbnb account or have anyone stay there. So you can actually go and buy a night stay or a week or a month or whatever. And I think they're accruing quite a bit of cash for that. So sorry, I have to support people in that way. Other than that, I just wanted to get off my chest today how I felt about things, maybe share a few things with you guys. Um, some links on YouTube. That one documentary is really great. There's another one on the Ukraine on Ukraine on YouTube. And other than that, I think that was all I pretty much wanted to say. I just wanted to come on and get that off my chest and express how sad I feel for the people of Ukraine and for Russia too. I think what really needs to happen, and I've posted this on my Twitter account and other places, that I think in viewing the history of Ukraine and Eastern Europe, it seems that every time the people rose up, like in Berlin with the Berlin Wall, it was the people that broke down the wall. It was the people that forced the Russian army and the USSR army and the Soviet Union and whatever the fuck it's called out of those countries. Even the smallest of countries did that, and it was unbelievable the power of the human voice, and people came out in thousands, and I'm talking back in the day, and that's what drove the Russian army out. And that's what, now I'm not sure, because Putin has so many nuclear weapons, uh, he feels that, so what if he can't win on the ground? He'll just go in and bomb, which is what's happening. He's just going in and bombing everyone, which is unbelievably horrible. And so I think that's what's keeping it going, is that he has now, what's different from back then is that he feels now that he can uh, do that. That's his default. He'll default to just air bombing, which is, I think, why Ukraine is screaming for closing the airspace, is because they realize that that's what he's going to resort to once, obviously the troops on the ground are not. It's not happening, and they've been sitting there. I think they've abandoned vehicles. They've literally shut down. I'm just checking I'm just checking the see if my YouTube channel is actually allowing comments, because this is very weird that no one can comment. And if you want to join me on screen, you can do that by just clicking the link there. And then you'll pop up down here and we can actually have a discussion, whoever wants to join me. But let me just check again to see what's happening here with the channel. But yeah, I think that's uh, quite shocking. And I hope that they will keep people out of the southern part uh, along the Black Sea, because that area is really important, and that you can see Russia trying to take over southern area and gain all that territory along the water because it's an important port. Russia only, I think, had that one area up through the next through that port through Mariupol. So yeah. Anyway, this isn't quite going how I imagined. I imagined more comments, but that's okay. Um, I'm just checking to see. It doesn't even look like it's live on YouTube. Oh yeah, we don't really have. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, folks, I just wanted to maybe start the conversation today about that, about Ukraine and Russia. Maybe some of you have some information you'd like to impart on the live stream here. I appreciate anyone's opinion. If you want to join me on screen, just click that link or this one, and you could come on right now and join me on screen, and we can actually talk about it. I found that's the best way to obviously to gain information is to talk to other people um, who are either there, who know someone who's there. Um, there's been some really sad events that have happened over the past week or two. I guess it's been how many days has it been? Um, 9, I think they said. It's been 9 days since all of it began. So, that in itself is unbelievable. People have said, oh, my side of my head is sort of fading out. People have said that's one reason, why I think Ukraine has done a really good job of stopping, the Russians from coming in and, creating more conflict and more death, and I think there's been about 1.88 million people, or close to that, 1.7, I thought I heard. Anyway, millions of people are fleeing Ukraine, and we hope that they can get back to their country. But will it be the same? And I think even if Russia moves in to Ukraine, I think Ukrainian people will not. Uh, you still have to, even if you take the government, you still have to actually deal with the people of Ukraine. And I think that Russia's economy is just going to crumble. It already is. So I'm not sure what the end game is. I think the end game for Putin is actually he just wants to get his last hurrah in, see how much more territory he can gain back from the empire that Russia used to hold, which was all through Eastern Europe and Western Europe there at one time. So, well, folks, I'm going to sign off. I just wanted to weigh in on that. If you have any, if you want to share this cast, if you want to put in comments, chat, I'll read them later and we can discuss it online. But I wanted to just get that off my chest. I was feeling quite emotional today and over the past month and a half. And some of us need to just talk about it and get it out. But I will say that the one important thing for us to do is support the people of Ukraine, monetarily, emotionally, online, and also to keep our heads straight too. This affects us. This is affecting the whole world, and as you can see, it's affecting. As we have our stupid convoy going across. I think it's going across the U.S. and landing in Washington pretty soon, if not today or tomorrow. We still have people uprising about vaccine mandates, even though they're all pretty much gone. You have a choice. You still have a choice. You're not you talk about freedom. This country is free. That what's happening in Ukraine is not freedom. That's conflict. And I just the whole trucker thing makes me so angry, even though I think the truckers maybe had good intentions, but it was the people around the convoy that are creating the shitstorm. And that's what's unfortunate. And it happened on January 6th in the States too. The people around the protesting, which I think was initially quite calm. It's the people who wanted to overtake the government, which is what was happening in Canada they were wanting to overtake Trudeau, and still are. And this conflict that's happening in Ukraine and Russia is fueling it again, fueling the white supremacists, fueling the that opinion that they can overthrow the government and reinstall a new one. It's not going to happen. And so anyway, if anyone wants to join me on screen, I'll give one last shout out. You can join me here as a guest right now on my show, and we can discuss further. Um, or you can join me on YouTube in the conversation, chat, post some comments, whatever you like, and we can. And let me see here if I can change this part here. Facebook doesn't allow. Very weird. Okay. Well, everyone, have a great Sunday. Get outside. It's sunny and it's warm. I think it's 16 degrees here in Toronto today. It's windy, but get out, educate yourselves on the topic. Be safe. Oh, that was one other thing I wanted to mention is that the whole COVID situation that's happening right now in Toronto and Ontario, they're opening up. They've opened up restaurants. They're going to remove the vaccine passport. We've changed our whole laws on PCR testing coming into the country and I think leaving. I went to Mexico last month. Yeah, it was about a month ago. I didn't need a PCR test to go there or any test. I just needed a vaccine passport. So I got to Mexico and I was there for about 13 days. I got COVID while I was there. And so I was then faced with a huge conundrum. And actually, a lot of my friends who were in Mexico were positive also in quarantine there. And they had just gotten there. So it's crazy. So I actually had to come back. I luckily tested negative and then got back into Canada and tested positive. So some weird thing was happening down there. But basically, I went into quarantine here. So now I'm having residual like after effects from COVID. Some sort of it was just like cold flu symptoms, small, very small, but I could feel it fighting and going into my chest. So I quarantined for 10 days and I now have these residual COVID, what do they call it? Long haul post COVID symptoms, which is some sort of weird nasal thing, feels like allergies. And then my inner ear is plugged some days. So it's terrifying. I will say I went for 2 years without getting COVID. I was on here, as you can view other episodes of this show on YouTube, that I was adamant about, wearing masks from the beginning. I wore 2 masks, like from the get-go of COVID, because when I heard airborne, I was terrified, as we all should be. Airborne is not something to fool around with. And I was researching the 1918 pandemic at the time and read extensively about what happened then, and history repeated itself. That's for sure, and still is, even with the semi-world war looming. So I personally think, and this is just coming from having avoided COVID for 2 years. And I always put myself into some situations where I was, not exposed, but I got calls from certain restaurants that I ate at in the summer who said, you've been exposed, to someone who has COVID. Or I did a theater show in Newfoundland that came to Toronto, and there were a couple of people who were exposed during our run. It shut down the whole, it was just unbelievable, the protocols we had to go through. So I personally say, now that I've had COVID, and knowing how easily I got it, which was basically going to a country where there was no screening in terms of testing to get into the country. So I would say if you're going to go travel and be somewhere like Mexico, or take high precautions and find out what their mandates are in that country, and be very careful, because it's terrifying. I will say, I was terrified that my health was going to take a hard right turn and end up in the hospital there. Even just quarantining in a foreign country for 10 days brings on many, many problems, like a hotel for 10 days on your own by yourself, like medicine. I, it, I can't tell you how scared I was. So, so if you're going to travel, my friends, travel safely. Go to a country that has, uh, a lower rate, and has testing of some sort, because Mexico doesn't have any. Uh, there were people on the streets there who wore masks, but it was inconsistent. Like, I find in Toronto, actually, there's more people wearing masks on streets there's nobody walking, than there is in Mexico, where people were closer. It was a closer knit community in old Puerto Vallarta, and so, um, if you're going to go somewhere else, just make sure you're careful with those things. I think you can buy actually a PCR test to take with you. I think you can order them from Air Canada before you leave, but check in on that. I think their Aeroplan, or order some, and Switch Health, which is in Toronto, I think Ontario. You can order PCR tests to take with you, so that you can test yourself if you have trouble finding testing places there, and they're not reliable, that's for sure. Um, so yes, please take care of yourselves, my friends. It's 1:30 on a Sunday. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. It's 1:30 on a Sunday. Um, and yeah, wear a mask. Wear two. Still keep your protocols in place. Social distance if you can. Get outside, enjoy the fresh air. I've been saying this since the beginning of this show, and I mean this series from episode 1. Getting outside and walking and being around friends and talking is so important for mental health. And I did want to also I will still say, there is this. Let me just get rid of this. Sorry, what happened? I will say that ementalhealth.ca and Better Health, I think, is also another place that you can go. You call there, and it's like a what's the word? A hub of different services that you can access, different phone numbers, different places to go for mental health help. So ementalhealth.ca, my friend Tim told me about that. Sorry. Is a great resource for that. And what else did I have here? If you want to subscribe, go to YouTube and subscribe to Duff MacDonald. You can watch this video. It's just me blabbering for 30 minutes, but there has been some interesting information on here, right? And some great resources that I've spelled out to you guys about. Just this whole show is about arming yourself with your own opinion, gathering your own opinions, and then arming yourself to go forward, and so that we're not all spewing what all the other people are spewing, which is theories, bum theories. So yes, go subscribe to YouTube at Duff McDonald if you can. If you need any mental health help, ementalhealth.ca is a great resource that you can access. And come back. Maybe we'll have a guest on. This is episode 28. Maybe we'll have a guest on my next broadcast when I figure out how to fucking work this thing. It's been a while. They've updated some things. So we'll see you next time. Just keep looking out for the posts of that I'll be broadcasting. I don't have a schedule like I used to, and if you want to be a guest on my show, just let me know. Email me. Here is my email, dondumac@hotmail.com. You can also tip me through there, but no need to. And if you want to be a guest on this show and have some discussions, if you are in a foreign country, I would love to talk with you, speak with you. Some of my guests in the past have been, it's been awesome. And I thank everyone who, if you want to watch those episodes, they're really informative of what was happening. So, and you can go to YouTube, to my YouTube channel. There's lots of stuff on there too, entertainment stuff, at Duff McDonald, and you can subscribe. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful Sunday. I'm going to get outside and get some fresh air. And it was awesome blabbering to you all. I just wanted to, wanted to get it out there and maybe open up some more discussions in your backyard with your family and with and maybe you can access some of the resources that I've given you. Okay, everyone, love you all. Peace to the people of Ukraine and to the people of Russia as well, and all of Europe, and of course the globe around the world. That's what this is all about. Okay, everyone, have a great Sunday. Love you all. Now, if we could just figure this out, how to, it's been a while. Here we go. Bye-bye, everyone.